It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we see in the weekend, almost there. Now, we know when buying a new home, it's not only a financial investment, but a change in lifestyle. And this morning, we are focusing on, well, the community where I was born. Private property offers an incredible resource when looking at the value of a property and what kind of investment you're making, but also an inside view into the community, the neighborhood, where you could be finding your brand new home. Let's take a look at what Simon Bray has to say about the Western Seaboard.
Well, if you're looking to buy a house and thinking about the neighborhood specifically, look no further. We're going to give you that advice this morning. Now, Private Property has recently launched an exciting campaign called Neighbourhoods, where you, by logging onto their website, get to explore the different neighborhoods in South Africa to help you decide which one will suit you and also your needs, of course, for the best. Now, our property expert, Simon Bray, Private Property CEO, is here this morning to discuss another neighborhood, the Western Seaboard, my neighborhood. Simon, welcome to the show, man. Nice to have you.
Thanks, Ian. Good to be back.
Man. Look, man, we're talking about the Western Seaboard. Very excited. I've been living there for a couple of years now. But from a property expert point of view, what makes this kind of neighborhood so attractive? I mean, I know from the get-go, you know, we've got the sea, the beach is right there.
No, of course. I mean, it's the perfect beach lifestyle. But if you've been living there for 2 years, then perhaps you should be the expert on Western Seaboard. Yeah, the lifestyle's great. You know, you've got the beach, you've got the scenery. There's always an epic view of Table Mountain, so you just get this feel of Cape Town, but from a different angle. There's a lot of other things driving the lifestyle in that area. Great shopping centres, great schools. There's a good sense of community out there, which I think is what drives a lot of people towards that area. And, I mean, if you go down there on a windy day and you see those kites across the beach, I mean, it's really beautiful. These beautiful coloured kites, and I don't think people realise that it's one of the premier kite surfing beaches anywhere in the world.
It's
so
one
a
of
lot
the
of
best
people
in the world,
are coming into that environment and experiencing what that natural beach has got to offer.
Look, I won't lie that I did have my fair share of trying to take up kite surfing, but yeah, we'll leave that story for another day. Listen, let's talk some property now for a moment here. What does this area offer?
I think the Cape Town market has been a great growth story for South African property prices nationally. So a lot of people moving into Cape Town from other regions in South Africa and from around the world. And that has pushed the property values up across the Cape Town region. And I think the great story about Western Seaboard is it hasn't really affected that environment yet. It's still great value property. Affordability and convenience are kind of the words when you think about Tableview, Blaauberg, Milnerton, those areas. And I think for first-time buyers, for South African local residents, for middle-income families, it's really important to have that value option and as close to Cape Town as it is. So you can live and work in those areas without compromising on your lifestyle. And I think that's what's driving the property market on Western Seaboard.
Absolutely. I think it's also a great way, you know, for especially a family just starting out, you know, if wanting to get into the property market. But what about those investors maybe looking to buy property to obviously rent out? Is it a good area to look at?
Well, as I mentioned, you know, a lot of focus is on areas like Atlantic Seaboard. And the idea is that you're going to get great capital growth. And that's true, but it just depends at what baseline you start. So an apartment here in Atlantic Seaboard is going to set you back between 2 and 3 million. You can buy a 3-bedroom house for that across the way in Blaauberg. So it's really a good value option for investors to look at. And I think what's great is when you look at that, it all becomes about rental yield, right? So investment in that area, you're buying a 3-bedroom sectional title unit, say at 1.5, 1.8. Your bond repayments on that are just over 16 grand a month. And the average rentals in the area are going between 17 and 18 grand a month. So there's great opportunity to pay the initial costs from day one. So as an investment market, it's particularly attractive.
Right, so all in all, you know, I think a great area to invest in. But of course, you want to be comfortable if you are going to be living on that side. Talking about the kind of people that you will find in the, you know, specifically the Western Seaboard side, people obviously buying there, needing to commute to town. I mean, what are the type of people that we are looking at?
When we chose to profile the Western Seaboard on the site, we obviously picked the stereotypical kind of resident, and we've got this great guy that runs a kite surfing shop on the Western Seaboard, and he lives and works in the area. But your typical resident in those areas actually travels and commutes to Cape Town CBD every day. And that's a great element of living there, is the access to the CBD is only 15 k's away. You've got the bus routes that run as well. So a lot of the people that choose to live out there are people that live and work in Cape Town, but want the feeling of space and value that they get out there.
Well, you've definitely done your research correctly, because you've summed me up pretty well. Thank you very much. Simon, just lastly, your tip of the day when it comes to looking at that as a neighbourhood.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the Cape Town region and you're looking for a good value opportunity and a great investment potential, then you should definitely consider the Western Seaboard and the suburbs that surround that area.
All right, perfect. Simon, thank you so much, man. Educating us on the Western Seaboard this morning. Now, deciding the neighbourhood you want to stay in is now easy as 1, 2, 3. All you need to do, simply log on to www.privateproperty.co.za and let them guide you through the right neighbourhood for you.
Whether it's your first apartment in the city, a trendy suburban townhouse, or that dream family home on a golf estate, there's a home for everyone on Private Property.